Howdy folks. I like to take a moment and describe the full album of original brand new music y'all are about to listen to. Assuming you don't swipe away from this video in less than 5 seconds. We're living in an age of true miracles and wonders. I've been writing my whole life. Poems, stories, and even news reports. And I always longed to express myself in more beautiful ways. Well, thanks to modern breakthroughs in a technology called AI, it is finally possible for me to do so. I don't just write poems and such anymore. I compose the lyrics to bona fide songs of every conceivable genre. I've written lyrics that I've turned into rap songs, hip-hop, trip-hop, gospel, country gospel, show tunes, industrial rock, heavy metal, and I even made a song in a style called dark synth. After I put words to paper, I opened a website and I just enter them in along with a description of how I want this song to sound. Imagine back in the day when men roamed the countryside with horses who would have dreamed such a thing would one day be possible. Hearing these disembodied voices singing my words has been a spiritual experience, and I feel like I know every one of these performers, even though none of them has ever existed. I consider it a happy little miracle. And you know what a fine gentleman named St. Augustine once said. Miracles are not contrary to nature, but only contrary to what we know about nature. Now you and I and all human beings are a part of nature, and I'd say we're learning about ourselves every day. So with that out of the way, let's get down to some spirit-lifting, tear-jerking, thought-provoking, and occasionally foot-stomping music. Like I said, expect some real variety to these tunes, and if you decide you don't like one, instead of swiping away like a jerk, you can jump ahead to the next one. I've got the whole song list with something called timestamps in the pinned comment below, so you can understand what a strange and unpredictable ride you're about to take. I'm going to begin with a type of music for which I admittedly have had little appreciation in life, and that is a Broadway-style show tune. I'll see you again at the back end, right before the very last song is sung.
Of contradiction in which I walk with clouded sight, on vexing darkened pathways traversed in black of night.
I march with quickened footsteps on the path before me laid. The promise of escape nowhere never has been made. Every step a calculation of danger lurking near sea. Overshadows ever present, both in waking and in dreams. Trudging on without compass in this serpentine construction. No thread I see before me, yet I'm certain that destruction awaits somewhere round the corner, either looming or delayed, as certain as the bell toll for the body freshly laid.
For nothing ever whispers of alternative direction on this path with not a single step regarding my election.
Until finally absolute futility I see of this constriction ever tighter in this circle about me. The designer of this puzzle, his intention now made clear. The extinguishment of hope on this sojourn interfere, and the pathways now all darken, disappear from my sight. No illumination possible in the cast of eternal night, and a silent shadow brushes my soul with fingers cold as ice. And with great relief I realize I've nothing left to sacrifice. For nothing ever whispers of alternative direction on this path
When I was a child, I dreamed a fearful dream, that the gentleness of the Lord was not what it seemed, that limits He placed on His love and acceptance into heaven, and those who offended His grace with cruelty He would threaten. Brothers and sisters, whole lifetimes they have spent dreading the wrath of the Lord, no time left to repent. How terrible His image must reign in the frightened minds, the teacher of all kindness, whose lessons they must find. Brothers and sisters, let me ask you this question. If you believe in righteousness and this thing called heaven, how can you believe your Father to be cruel, whose kindness only glistens more brightly than a jewel? No judgment day awaits the children of the Lord, just a gentle hand of welcome as we lay down our souls. This world is ended long before He's come, for He never departed, nor you from His kingdom. Even now we remain at His mighty right hand, unbound by the rusty shackles and illusions of man, still destined for paradise, also called the promised land. So join with me, brothers and sisters, rise with me if you can. We are all lost children trying to find our way home, living under the illusion we were born all alone. Yet the heart of heaven still we never have left, and the spirit of joy remain even as we wept. No judgment day awaits the children of the Lord, just a gentle hand of welcome as we lay down our souls. This world is ended long before He's come, for He never departed, nor you from His kingdom. So goodbye to cruelty, misery and despair. Not a single reservation, nor worry or care. We rejoice, liberated, restored and unbound, for the kingdom of heaven at last we have found. For the kingdom of heaven at last we have found.
Gather around, ye old hustlers, I'll tell you a tale from the days when real cowboys and outlaws were hailed as equal parts villains and heroes who stood for the best of our species, whether evil or good. It was the year of 1880 in the town of Cheyenne, when bountiful was freedom and abundant the land. The hero of our story was a villain named Bud, of whose achievement you've not heard his name cast in the mud. Bud stole about as often as windows presented, yet sometimes to his conscience his thievery relented. He stole not from the poor, nor from women nor children, nor never once harmed a soul, nor with violence he threatened. One day Bud drunken strolled through town in his duds, and 10 feet before him a body fell with a thud. The sheriff of Cheyenne was shot dead by a gun, and the killer he did flee while poor Bud he stood stunned. Out from the saloon came a crowd of gum-goers, and poor Bud, while not stupid, was a terrible talker. He stared down at the carcass, his defenses made lame, and not a word did he speak when for the crime he was blamed. The mob of dumb drunkards dragged Bud down the street, and in less than 1 minute the rope fell at his feet. Bud stared at the rope and his words remained mute, and in less than 10 seconds he was lifted off his boots. Fast down the street came the mayor of Cheyenne. He approached Bud and asked him, "What's your defense?" And Bud stared at them all. Among their smug faces was that of the killer in the strangest of places. It was the face of a boy, his cheeks streaming with tears. The saddest expression Bud had seen in his years. And Bud knew in his soul what needed to be done. And with tears of his own, he looked up at the sun. His voice he now found, and he cried with new strength, "I am guilty of murder, and I know I must pay. I've no need to ask mercy, nor claim my defense. And from the seed of my soul, here's my recompense." All mothers and fathers to whom I now speak, dote over your children and remember to teach only love and forgiveness and the ways of the Lord, and together find peace as you lay down your swords. And Bud in that moment found his own peace renewed, and he calmly accepted his short life was through. And as the noose tightened around his poor throat, he spoke to the boy one final note: "Fear not the vengeance of a terrible God. Your soul and my soul are both perfect yet flawed. For this I am grateful, for a life now well lived, and this peace in my heart to your heart I now give." And therein lies the lesson of our hero named Bud, whose name I redeemed from the depths of the mud.
In a dusty, dark canyon, somewhere south of Santa Fe, one summer morn, in the shadow of hell, my life forever changed. I was with my buddy Bobby and his trusted brother Dan, and we was rustling up lost cattle who from the ranch took flee and ran, when suddenly above the desert hills was the strangest spiteful sight, about 1,000 tons of mean-ass metal blazing with the devil's light. Now Dan was struck with terror, and like a little girl he screamed, and from the demon ship at its glowing heart shot an iridescent beam. The demon light nailed Dan, and to our astonishment and horror, his head and torso left his lower half and showered us with gore. Dan's horse took it off like a derby stud, holding only legs and butt, and Bobby and I sat in frozen shock, covered head to toe in guts. The demon ship then hurried our way, and Bob and I rode fast. Not away from the ship and its mean-ass metal, but toward its hulking mass. We pulled our pistols and fired away. What we struck we do not know, for that ship was fast as a hummingbird, but even dumber than a crow. It slammed headfirst into mountain rock and came crashing with a thud. And like lions after a wounded gazelle, Bob and I could smell their blood. We rode quick up on that flaming hawk and prepared to greet the devil. When suddenly, to our utter shock, the nightmare grew to a whole nother level. Out of the sky flew Jesus Christ on a winged horse of light. He swooped straight down like a bat out of hell and laughed at the awful sight. He saw that ship and its flaming wreck and rolled his eyes in our direction. He said, "I'm here because of my Father's will and not the least of my election." All tough cowboys who exist on these plains had better steady their hands and steeds, for lying before you in its pitiful horror are the remnants of Satan's seeds. He planted these beasts in every star system where life might inhabit, and leave it to those dagnab fools to reproduce like a bunch of rabbits. UFOs and all vessels of that like are nothing but the lowest of creature, and in future years you'll see their faces in a bunch of magazine features. God doesn't mind their stupid abuse if they leave you cowboys alone, but tonight those beasts crossed an unspoken line, and I'm prepared to cast a stone with that Jesus Christ grafted a sharp-edged rock and approach the flaming wreck. And Bob and I somehow knew in our souls he was about to give them heck. We averted our eyes, 'cause violence by Christ was about our darkest wish. Yet, with ears wide open, our hearts grew lighter as we heard a terrible swish. And then Jesus Christ gave a playful little wink and flew his horse back up to heaven. And Bob and I wondered if soon in the sky we'd see horses numbered in 7. I wish I could say we heard Christ's advice and followed it to the T. But Bob and I were tough old boys, which of course vengeance we seek. So every night on Roswell's hills, we scope these desert plains to our wives and friends. We've not yet bothered any lame. Attempt to explain how demons from space for no reason at all smoked our hapless buddy Dan. For the love of Christ, and I mean that literally, I don't think anyone can.
Alone in his prison sat a heartbroken man, where with nowhere to run, he constantly ran in great desperate terror to nowhere at all, running for freedom, confronting the wall, and all of the running and chasing about exhausted the man, and he started to doubt if escape was possible from his dark chambered cell. And in utter despair, on his knees the man fell. Without hope of reprieve, he grew finally still. No dream to chase, to wish to fulfill. And in the man's brain, where violence had raged and made him feel like a rat in a cage, all thought fell silent, a silence so deep, his heart broke open and he started to weep. And in the man's weeping, a memory grew nearer, and for no reason at all, he looked in the mirror. And his reflection in the mirror, the perfect twin of illusion, cast a glimmer of light and shone forth the profusion of radiance that penetrated the layers of the brain through infinities of darkness to the heart of his pain, and illuminated the void, dumb and desperately filled with visions and phantoms, delusions of free will. The shining incandescence in the depths of the man's brain danced freely over darkness, hiding in vain. And shadows retreating revealed, hidden in plain sight, the objective of his search through the depths of the dark night. The reflection of his self staring back in the mirror, his self in something more, a treasure far dearer, hidden forever in the recesses of the mind, the remembrance of home beyond space and time. And with this remembrance of everything dear, the walls of the prison simply disappear.
Accept absurd proof of any terrible belief, and your heart will blacken like a fallen leaf, and you'll believe without evidence the nightmare is real, and pronounce all are guilty before the verdict is sealed, and view ominous shadows before motives unseen, and brothers and sisters sinful, unclean, and turn past and future into talismans of fear, weapons against surely we hold so dear, and turn ugly all beauty and all truth into lies, and make everything only live, only to die. In this moment's quiescence, ever glimmering and bright, is swallowed in blackness of internal fright, until finally your belief in a single black thought has made vision impossible. What is true, what is not? Believe instead just a single good thing, an assumption of innocence beyond judgment's sting, and turn this perception of innocence within, laughing at thoughts of original sin, and accept as self-evident your identity as love, and all the world bows, as gentle as a dove. The moon tips its crescent over Alabama skies, and my heart sings a little sonnet, and warm tears fill my eyes. 'Cause the moon over Alabama brings me dancing with you to mind, and I dream of some lost summer when your heart joined with mine. Yet the moon makes me smile more often than I cry, 'cause the Alabama sun is trailing right behind, and my memories of you turn from bitter to sweet. And I dream of the day when together we will greet Alabama moonshine. Through the morning glow so bright, it's daylight in my soul. Dancing under dark skies feels like heaven. All sorrow disappears under moon rays of hope. Now the moon tips a playful little wink as my feet do a little jig, and the light dancing off the sidewalk makes my heart skip a tiny beat. 'Cause I know that somewhere out there you dance in the moonlight still. My memory perhaps long gone, yet the cup of your joy the angels fill. The shadow from the moon cools the fever on my brow, and I smile as I think of your face. And at the bottom of my heart I make the solemn vow, no matter of the time and place, I'll say Alabama moonshine. Through the morning glow so bright, it's daylight in my soul. Dancing under clear skies feels like heaven. All sorrow disappears under moon rays of hope. Alabama moon, my love, I bid you good night. Not a single sparkle of joy had it darkened in heaven, and laughter so gentle it brushed the wings of angels flowed from my heart to yours. We join eternally grateful. A time so ancient you cannot conceive, when the mind so silent had not yet perceived, when the present stood undarkened by the past, no shadow against the truth was cast. And yet this time is no time at all, not a burden nor a delay to call on the voice of the Lord, ever beckoning so sweet. Now and forever a moment utterly complete. No more searching, no more battle, oh my God, I am home. The nightmare is vanquished, its consequences unknown. I'm liberated. either future or past, against the truth that shadow never can cast. No more searching, no more battle, oh finally I am home. The nightmare is vanquished, its consequences unknown. I'm liberated, restored, unbound and washed clean. For my great God Almighty, my spirit He is seen. No more searching, no more battle, oh finally I am home. The nightmare is vanquished, its consequences unknown. I'm liberated, restored, unbound and washed clean. For my great God Almighty, my spirit He is seen. No more searching, no more battle. Finally I am home.
When I see my fellow man, I wish not to feel content. My heart knows empathy, and I make every attempt to see in the human being all that lives in me, the essence without which none of us would be. I believe in God, I say without shame. His light I know is the remedy for pain. It shines always in me, also in you. We have the capacity to know what is true. My truth is, only goodness is real. All else is illusion. The belief in contradiction is the source of all confusion. Only truth shines on us simply as laughter. Here when we fell from grace, remaining long after. Yet I get angry more often than I care to admit. I hate cruelty and violence, and every effort to acquit insane injustice and senseless mistreatment of innocent masses is a political achievement. My brother, my sister, we were born of one source. Our vision reveals the great truth of import. When we see wrongdoing and yet remain silent, we are committing an act of reprehensible violence. For the love of God, remember your light. Ignore not for an instant your dear brother's plight. To hell with numbness and pain, this world seeks to demure. Life is far more than a thing to endure. To endure. Cry from the hills when you see something wrong. Speak truth as you see it and become ever more strong. Be consistent in your words, not a fearful hypocrite. Share the light of this truth through your intelligence and wit. Find inner peace through absolute self-honesty. Share this peace with the world as the ultimate charity. And and see darkness disappear under starbursts of light. Evil cast out into eternal night. For the love of God, remember your light. Ignore not for an instant your dear brother's plight. To hell with numbness and pain this world seeks to demure. Life is far more than a thing to endure. It's far more than a thing to endure.
Under filaments of scattered light, I hear a distant call. Through an ether of cosmic space and time, before the ancient fall, echoes of minds ill-gotten rights cascade inside my soul. When spirit of light fell far from grace, the one no longer whole. The voice of progenitor, mysterious inhibitor, constrictor of life, revelator of night, of night. Why do you feel so good when I know your temptation is a mountain of lies? If I understood why you tempt me with pain, it's my weakness that cries. Why do you feel so good? Why do you feel so good? Hear my plea, your innocence he cruelly steals to ensure no truth revealed. So the light within turns black as night, the wounds that never heal. Stand with me now and see the path within. Join with me now and laugh at thoughts of sin. Yet if I know all this as wholly true, and in silence embrace my fate, the nightmare unfolding in my view, I've seen but much too late. Why do you feel so good when I know your temptation is a mountain of lies? If I understood why you tempt me with pain, it's my weakness that cries. Why do you feel so good when I know your temptation is a mountain of lies? If I understood why you tempt me with pain, it's my weakness that cries. Why do you feel so good when I know your temptation is a mountain of lies? If I understood why you tempt me with pain, it's my weakness that cries. Why do you feel so good? My weakness that cries. My weakness that cries. My weakness that cries. In the light of a comet's passing, after midnight as earth turned in her sleep, I awoke from the deepest of slumbers, and I wondered if with my life I should keep. My heart was hollow from a lifetime of losing, my soul exhausted as my thoughts searched in vain for an answer to the puzzles that vex me, to an end to this season of pain. As the witching hour approached, the hope of dawn made no reproach to the blackness of my thoughts, to the hell in which I was caught. And yet in silence, in perfect grace, in absolute stillness, the heart of all faith is the reason for living, the lifeblood of joy, the basis for giving, to lay down our toys in silent acceptance, in exquisite relief. I abandoned all virtue, I relinquished belief in their pitiful absence. My eyes can now see, my vision inverted, no need to believe in awesome expression, in humble display, the most beautiful lesson, the truth of today. No need for searching, no need for pain, no cause for longing, the truth is unstayed. I am whole, I am whole, no longer exiled, no longer alone. I am whole, no more searching, no more battle, no longer alone. I am home.
Well, folks, as promised, I'm here with you to introduce the very last song of this album. I just want to tell you, the act of making this music and now sharing it with you has been a wondrous and healing experience for me. A completely unexpected little miracle. And that's really what every one of these songs is about, I think. The human being seeing past the wreckage of life's grief and discovering the source of a lasting peace, without which none of us would even exist. The final tune tonight really embodies every principle I've tried to convey in my words. It's a song from another era, from one of the most beautiful music-making epochs in American history. And appropriately, it's a song about no time at all. In fact, the lyrics are the same as an earlier song on this album, but as you'll hear in a second, it is most certainly not the same song. It is sung with a voice and a melody carrying a spirit of unbound exaltation, whose every note sings only of joy and freedom, beckoning the listener, the entire human family, to join in celebration. It is a voice that is undeniably 100% Motown.
A long time ago, so long we don't remember, when the sad burdens of life and problems to consider had not yet been dreaming the minds of God's children. Not a single sparkle of joy had yet darkened in heaven, and laughter so gentle strains of angels flow from my heart to yours. We join eternally grateful. A time so ancient you cannot conceive, when the mind stood silent, had not yet perceived, when the present stood undarkened by the past. No shadow against the truth was cast, and yet this time is no time at all. Not a burden nor delay to call on the voice of the Lord, ever beckoning so sweet. Now and forever, no moment utterly complete. No more searching, no more battle. Oh my God, I am home. The nightmare is vanquished, its consequences unknown. I'm liberated, restored, unbound and washed clean. Oh my great God Almighty, my spirit He has seen. How merciful the relief to relinquish the thought that a moment the paradise forever was lost. We join for an instant and eternity we reach, and this moment forever is our function to teach. Join with me, family, hear my cry and rejoice. Now is the only moment of choice. No other time ever, either future or past, against the truth its shadow never can cast. Lord, no more searching, no more battle. Oh, finally I am home. The nightmare is vanquished, its consequences unknown.